How's it going, everybody? This is Adam from Flagship Home Loans, and I'm here with my friend and colleague Zach Rank from Iron Valley Real Estate in Doylestown.
How you guys
Um,
doing?
Wanted to talk to you today about a few topics, and we were just talking a couple minutes ago about some things that we wanted to discuss personally. And the first thing that came to my mind is that Zach and I do a lot of business together. We've been working closely for the past year, and we
Yeah.
really have a good thing going. And wanted to sort of explain the value of teamwork between a real estate agent and a lender, and how that can give you a much better experience, both as a loan officer and a real estate agent, and also as a potential buyer. So one thing that from my end that I appreciate is the communication from Zach. After I get a buyer pre-approved, Zach does a great job of working with them and then reaching back out to me when we want changes. If
hmm
he's not managing that, sometimes things can get a little bit hairy with the requests. That's when you get like 5 emails in a row that says, "Could you give me updated numbers on these 5 properties?" So I really appreciate it when Zach helps
Yeah.
narrow that focus, and it gives borrowers and buyers a better experience as well. Zach, what do you think from your perspective?
Well, I mean, number one, as a busy agent, I find it better for myself and my clients if, as a group, we're dealing with one individual, or one
Mhm.
team, and especially one that has proven themselves, like yourself and Flagship. So that's a huge help for me. If I have a client with a outside pre-approval, then I've never worked with that person. I don't know what their track record is. And a
Mhm.
lot of times I'll see the pre-approvals and the numbers are totally off,
Yeah.
and they make no sense. The taxes are way off. I'm like, look, I already have no trust here. So it's nice, like you said, that we have a good working relationship and I can have you do an updated pre-approval on a property that we're serious about instead of just every property we're going to look at. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to waste your time and we don't want to give the client too much information. We want to give them relevant information that they can make decisions off of.
So true, so true. And then, on top of that, I would also say that, accuracy is key, right? And
hmm
now that you brought a good thing up there as far as when you look at a pre-approval or you look at a fee worksheet and you see things that are missing or you see taxes that are way off, what else did they miss, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately that doubt can creep in, and even if it does go well, you have more stress throughout the whole process.
Yeah. And I know that if I need to reach you, I'm going to hear back from you fairly quickly, even on the weekends or evenings. Like
Mhm.
we have that working relationship where we're paying attention, you know.
Yes.
So like
Yes.
that's huge. That's a huge value. The better we work together, the better the experience is for the client.
Amen to that. Proof right here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then, Zach, our second topic, you had mentioned that you wanted to maybe dip into what we think the rates might do over the next year.
Yeah, I mean, like it's always on top of mind for buyers and agents. I think a good agent should be cognizant of where the rates are and where they're going, and obviously with lenders, because we're a source of information for buyers and help temper that information because there's a lot out there from national media and news sources. But like, what does it
Mhm.
really mean for them and their process and where they're at? So I always like to get your thoughts on it. So every time we're talking, I'm always asking what the rates are. My thoughts are, we're probably heading into a declining rate market, but I want to see what you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly one of those questions that when you don't know what else to talk about, what do we always say? What are rates doing, right?
What
Or
are rates
where are
doing?
rates at? And the funny thing is, Zach and I both know that it's not a one size fits all. So there's always layers to that questioning. When I communicate about rate, what I like to do is talk about how are rates trending, right? So if someone did get a
hmm
quote 3 months ago, are we in the same ballpark? Is it better? Did it get worse? Is there something
Yeah,
we need to look out for? Because there's a lot of bad information out there when we talk about rates. If we Google what are interest rates right now, there's going to be somebody out there that's advertising a 4 or 5% interest rate
yeah,
that no one will ever end up getting. They
yeah.
call those best execution rates or teaser rates. But getting back to your original question, where do I see rates going within the next year? I think I do see rates going down, but that doesn't mean that rates won't temporarily go up. We've
Yeah.
talked about this many times in my weekly rate updates, is that when the Fed lowers rates, it actually causes our mortgage rates to go up a little bit because
Hmm.
the stock market starts to do better, right?
Then
Now,
said
there's
the
a
bond
trickle down
market, right?
effect, and after 3 to 6 months, we will see interest rates, mortgage interest rates, start to decline as the Fed lowers the rates. But if someone's not prepared for that, they could get caught off guard. And believe me, there's some awkward conversations when I have people
Yeah.
call me up and they're like, Adam, I got a pre-approval from you 3 months ago, and the Feds just dropped the rate. What's my shiny new rate?
Yeah.
And you kind of have to educate. So yeah, I do think that interest rates are going down, but the fact still remains, and I know you're big on this with your folks, is when
Hmm.
the rates do drop, what is that going to do to the real estate market, the prices and inventory? What's your thought on that?
Well, it's going to have a couple impacts. So more buyers are going to be able to afford more. So that's going to bring more buyers into the market that would have been sidelined. And we generally see an uptick in competition because of that.
Hmm.
So prices, especially in a limited inventory market like we have, prices are going to go up. Some inventory will come online, but I don't think that's going to outweigh the amount of activity we get from buyers. And what I mean by that is homeowners that have a really low rate and are hesitant to switch homes because of the higher rates, as that delta shortens and shrinks, they're more likely to um, change properties.
Hmm.
So that means their home is going to come on the market if they're transitioning. So
Hmm.
that's where the inventory could come from, but I think it's a smaller impact than buyers entering the market.
Sure, and the funny scene or the funny cartoon that plays in my mind is when rates quote unquote drop, it is going to be a starter's pistol for everyone that's been on the
Yeah.
sidelines, like waiting to buy a house. Yeah, so it is going to be a little crazy, and what I'm getting at is it circles back to buy now, refinance later. We've run the numbers. We looked at an actual average home value, average rates, average
Hmm.
payments over the past year. So we're talking 2024 to 2025. And the real loss at the end of the day, yes, someone may have had higher mortgage payments for a short period of time, for a year, but what you're actually missing out on is the appreciation in the value of the
Absolutely.
home. And we
Yep.
came up with a number in Pennsylvania that was somewhere around $25,000 in equity that someone missed out on just over the past 12 months. That is the real cost of waiting that most home buyers don't really feel because they don't own a house right now.
Yeah, it's easily overlooked piece of the analysis, right? Like, do I keep waiting for rates to come down, or do I just buy now? And by most standards, if you're able to buy now, do it because you're going to benefit from better rates in the future, and refinancing,
Hmm.
especially where we're at right now. Like where we're at right now.
Yes. Yep. Could not agree more. Um, and then thirdly, the last thing that I wanted to touch base on with you, Zach, is over the past 6 months, Zach and I have had a few, how shall I call it, tricky situations with borrowers where going into it, as a loan officer, it is not my job to deny someone for a loan. I can only
Hmm.
pre-approve them. It's only an underwriter can actually deny someone for a loan. So I always have to be careful when someone is on the edge of where it looks like they might not qualify. It's communication is critical, and this kind of ties back into what we were talking about as far as value of teamwork.
Hmm.
When you have a team that works together as far as a loan officer and a realtor, I have more confidence in trying to get some of these people into a home. Whereas if it's a new realtor that I'm working with, do I want that to be the very first experience where I'm truly unsure? Because there's many times when it's not just someone's credit score, it's not just someone's the way they work or how much money they make. There's a lot of other things that can come into play, such as collateral and whether or not a loan is
Hmm.
going to go through. And we've talked a few times about it where we went over the risks, we went over what could go wrong and how it could go right. And as
Hmm.
long as you and I are on the same page and we thoroughly explain that to the clients, we got to try. And we've had some great success with these difficult situations lately.
Yeah, and it come from buyers that are very motivated. I think that's definitely a key piece. They have to be very motivated to want a house, to get a house. And in one of those situations, they were renting, and the property they were in was going to be sold, and they're going to have to find a new home. But yeah, it was a borderline scenario where we didn't know for sure how the underwriter would determine it, and we were just totally upfront with the buyer and saying, "Hey, this is our plan, and here's the risks, and here's the rewards. This is what we think where it's going to go, but there is some chance because of this history or that item." And just being totally transparent about it. And they appreciate it because then they know that we're looking out for them, and they know that we are paying attention to the details.
Hmm.
And if you do that, then more likely than not, you're gonna have good success. And that was an awesome, like everyone was an awesome success.
Yeah, yeah. And what you said there is take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves.
Yeah.
The other thing is a lot of times lenders will still try to make those work, but they're scared to communicate something went wrong or there
Hmm.
is an issue. They'd rather just kind of give the pre-approval and then hope for the best. And we know those are the situations where you hear nightmares where people are saying we were 2 days away from closing. We had the
Yeah.
moving truck packed, and then we found out we weren't getting the loan. Chances are people on the lending side knew there was something going on, but they weren't ready to completely call it off. So that's where having that confidence in each other, the communication,
Hmm.
is just worth its weight in gold in these situations.
When I get a pre-approval, I want that pre-approval to mean we have 100% confidence. If it's
Mhm.
anything less than that, I want to know, and I want to
Absolutely.
know for what reasons, so that way we're on the same page and
Mhm.
we can bring the client on the same page.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do with every single one.
Yeah.
So, Zach, last question for you. I'm going to throw you a curveball. Okay. You weren't ready
Okay.
for this. Um, all right. It's the world is ending tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
And you can choose one album to listen to for the next 24 hours. Doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite album of all time, right?
Lord,
But
yeah.
what album would you choose as the last album you would listen to if the fireball's in the sky and heading to the earth right now?
All right, it'd be Lincoln Park Hybrid Theory.
Nice, interesting,
Yeah,
good
just
call.
it's probably just that era of my life growing up was big for me. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Very good. Well, thank you so much for stopping by today, Zach. We really appreciate this. This was a great chat. Again, this is Zach Rank from Iron Valley, Doylestown. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you next time with Flagship.
Thanks,
Take care,
Adam.
everybody.